Well, we're getting ourselves ready for a fantastic end to the weekend and a fantastic end, of course, for the FIA Karting European Championship season as the drivers are getting themselves ready for an absolutely spectacular battle here at Le Mans. And the first race of the bill this afternoon for the finals is going to be the FIA Karting's guest class this weekend, which is the FFSA Championnat de France handikart. And Romain Didier, our circuit commentator, is just talking there to former Formula One driver Philip Strife, who is our guest this weekend and will be helping to present the trophies to the handicart drivers later. And, of course, he is the organizer of the Masters in Paris-Bercy, a magnificent event that we are hoping is going to be returning to international competition very soon indeed. And Philip Strife, one of the most incredible exponents of motor racing over the last 30 years and a fantastic character in the world of motorsport. So hopefully we are going to get to see an amazing handicart race as the drivers, as you can see, are now coming into their positions. The drivers will battle away as our circuit commentator, Romain Didier, doing a fantastic job all weekend. She's been keeping the fans around the circuit entertained. And Philip Strife is going to be watching and observing the race action with our handicart drivers in the H2 and H4 categories around the circuit, obviously getting ourselves ready for an absolutely fascinating battle. So the drivers are getting themselves ready into position then for the handicart final. In pole position, it's going to be the man who's been absolutely dominant over the course of the heats and pre-final, Maxime Leger in kart number 1. And there is the man who will be alongside him. There is the number 1, Maxime Leger, who's been absolutely dominant over the course of the weekend, as each of the drivers are going to be presented with a medal of participation from the FFSA. And they've been absolutely fantastic. Philip Strife, of course, is watching along as well. They will hand the medals of participation, of course, to their mechanics, who will have to look after it over the course of the race. You certainly can't drive with that in your pocket. But it's a very nice gesture for all of the competitors. Of course, for the junior and OK senior categories, the medals of participation are given to the drivers in person. But obviously the drivers are now sat in their karts ready to go. And considering, of course, that these drivers are of H2 and H4 capability, for those who don't know anything about Paralympic competition, H2 denotes drivers who have 1 or 2 faulty limbs, and H4 denotes drivers who have either 3 or 4 faulty limbs. So that is where basically the drivers are differentiated from the other competitors. Now, I've been given a piece of paper in front of me which tells me the full results of the OK Junior qualifying heats. And as far as I'm aware, they are official. So while we're waiting for this race to get underway, the handicart, we can tell you about the qualifying heats results for OK Junior. Pole position is going to be Martinius Stenshorn. So Martinius Stenshorn is actually going to be in pole position for the race in front of us. Then it is going to be the race ahead of us after this one, of course, which is the Junior European Final. Then it's going to be Kimi Antonelli from Connor Zilic and James Wharton, William Severholm and Alfio Spina in the top 6, from Yuga Chukwu and Marcus Amond, who will start in 8th position for the final. Rafael Chavez-Camara and Tuka Tarpanen will complete the top 10. Then Conrad Lawson and Alexander Dunn, Nikita Bedrin and Jamie Day, despite his 5-second penalty for his heat win, will still get in the top end of the grid. Matthias Ferreira and Daniel Briz, Arvid Lindblad and Lawrence Van Hoppen. And then Timothus Kucharczyk and Christian Ho will round up the top 20. Keep an ear out for your favourite driver, of course. If you don't hear them, then your favourite driver, sadly, is not going to make it to the final. In 21st on the grid, it is going to be Maxim Solotov from Villamalia and Max Dodds. Then Roman Sharapov and Alexander Partashev, Evan Gilter and Brando Badoa. Then Levi Revej and Taz Intrafovazak, Philip Victorson. And then the final 4 will be Andrei Zhivdov, Rafael Modanese, Josep Marti and Axel Malia. And that is very dramatic, of course, because that means that Thomas ten Brinker, the man fighting for the European Junior Championship this weekend, is out of the final. So that's a big drama heading into this weekend. So that is the way things currently look in the OK Junior Finals, and a very dramatic course of events it is indeed, as we get ourselves ready for the Junior Final later. That race, by the way, is going to be starting at 2:55, with the presentations getting underway from 2:35. But this is the Championnat de France handicart final here this weekend as a guest class of the FIA Karting European Championship, with some of the most heroic motorsport competitors I have ever met. These guys and girls are absolutely fantastic. They are either H2 or H4 capability. So all of them disabled drivers. H2 denotes drivers with either 1 or 2 faulty limbs. H4 denotes drivers with 3 or 4 faulty limbs. And in the case of the Frenchman Fabrice Dubois, he has 4 faulty limbs. How does he drive, you ask? Well, that's very simple, actually. They strap one of his hands to the steering wheel, and he just maneuvers his entire arm to go round corners. And with his other arm, his left arm, that is strapped to a specially designed lever, which if he pulls his arm towards him, makes the kart go fast. If he pushes his arm away from him, it will go to slow down. It's an absolutely incredible ethos, this championship. Some amazing competitors in the Championnat de France handicart. You do not know the meaning of the word true heroism than you do when you meet these guys and girls. They are absolutely sensational. And the competition in this particular category is just mind-blowing. The only limit to go motor racing at this level is your imagination. And these guys have been absolutely fantastic heading into the final. They will put on another fantastic show. The grid is cleared as the 3-minute warning goes up. And ex-Formula 1 star Philip Strife is moved away from his position on the starting grid. An absolutely fantastic man of this particular championship discipline, and great to see him here. Now, I've just been handed the OK qualifying heat C versus D results, as well as the qualifying heat A versus B results in OK Junior. So there is a couple of penalties to talk about in qualifying heat C versus D for the OK category, and that is a 5-second time penalty for Nico Handke and Tony Horainen, and that actually promotes Harry Thompson. Well, I think it promotes a couple of drivers further up the order. It does indeed. It promotes... Well, Tony Horainen was up in amongst the mix and then ended up falling back, as did Nico Handke. So Handke was originally 8th on the road. He now falls down outside the top 10. And there's been some penalties handed out in the OK Junior qualifying heat A versus B for Ruki Liu, Laurens Lesatua and Matteo Spergel, all for incorrect front fairing installations. 10 seconds time penalty for Laurens van Hoppen, and a 10-second time penalty for Matteo Spergel for overtaking after the red line. So some interesting penalties handed out there. But obviously all the ramifications of all of that is going to be made clear when the competitors will battle away for position.